So we'll kick it off. First, we have David, who's got a question for you.
Hey, hello. My name is David. I'm a 3-tour Afghanistan combat veteran. Flew Apaches there.
Thank you for your service, David.
Spent a lot of time in that country. And let me just say thank you both for your service and your continued service, ma'am. And for all the other veterans that are here, too, thank you for giving me the chance. I appreciate that. If anybody's not noticed, outside the gate or the hangar there is the Abbey Gate 13, the people that died on August the 26th, 2021. And I'm kind of saddened that there has been no accountability for that.
Yes, sir.
So I'd like to know, what is President Trump going to do to help get accountability for that event?
David, I appreciate the question, and it's an important one, and thank you for your service, but most importantly, thanks to everybody, including David, for their service in this room. We're thrilled to have you, and we're thrilled to put a president back in the White House who actually respects the sacrifice of American military veterans, and that's exactly what we're going to do. David, like President Trump, I've spent a lot of time with the families of the 13 brave Americans who died at Abbey Gate. And one of the things that has really affected me is the recognition that a lot of these guys, they're not mad. They're, of course, heartbroken, but they're not angry that their loved ones lost their lives because they recognize that when you put on the uniform of the United States, sometimes that's what's happened, right? That's what a lot of people sign up for. What they're really angry about is the fact that their loved ones died and there's been no accountability for the disaster that led to their death in the first place. That's what pisses them off. They're heartbroken to have lost their kids, but they're angry that no one has paid any price for the fact that those kids died because our leadership failed to do its job. I mean, think about this. You get out of Afghanistan, and I think it was the right decision to get out of Afghanistan eventually, but you don't close down the airport before you get out. We basically turned brave Americans into TSA agents in the most dangerous, terrorism-infested area of the entire world. And frankly, we may have been lucky that only 13 Americans died. It could have been much, much higher given the chaos of the situation that was going on the ground. And not one person, not a single general, not a single Pentagon bureaucrat, not a single person who controlled how that withdrawal was conducted has faced any consequences. But I believe that the first person that we are going to fire, and there's going to be more after that, but the first person we get to fire who had a role in Abbey Gate, her name is Kamala Harris, and we're going to fire her in 6 days. But the last thing I'll say, David, is after that, after we fire Kamala Harris, we have got to get some accountability. Who made the decision to close down Bagram before we had everybody out of Afghanistan? Who made the decision to put our troops in that situation to begin with? Who made the decision to not evacuate any of our $80 billion worth of equipment before we closed up shop and left? There has to be answers when people fail. And one of the things you'll see is the media, of course, attacks Donald Trump because there are people that criticize him. And what is almost always true is that the people who are most loudly criticizing Donald J. Trump are people that he fired because they screwed up. Those are the people that are attacking him. And I think I speak for every person in this room. I'd rather have a president who fires the people who screw up than the president who protects their jobs when they screw up. And that's why we got to get new leadership.
I think that's something that President Trump understands very clearly, is that when you are a leader of any organization, you're responsible for what happens under your leadership. And President Biden, obviously, as you said, fired no one, but it shocks me even that within our military, none of these leaders did the right thing and said, you know what, we screwed up, I resign. Not a single one.
That's right. It's a very good point.